From the experiences that you shared in the book, it doesn't seem like it was like covering the series how you usually do. A lot of adventure was involved, like the possibility of swimming across the river. What was your favorite adventure during the series?
I think start of the tour probably when we had no access to watch the Indian cricket team, and we had to forge out a route through a forest to get up on an embankment to make sure that I was standing over these black sheets to ensure that I can see something. I think that was the start of it, and that probably set the tone of potentially what the series might be like.
Yeah, and he's compact, so he kind of fit like, he could just balance himself on this thin little branch. I'm much bigger, I'm much taller, so it was a bigger challenge for me to somehow just stay on the ledge and not slip down into the bush where the brown snakes were waiting for me. But for me, personally, the biggest adventure was both driving from Adelaide to Sydney at the start of the tour, in the 14 days that I was just by myself.
You also mentioned in this series that you're going to release a book about the 2019 World Cup that took place in England. So is that book in the works, and how was the experience different from this one?
Yeah, we can write a book on it.
I love to do the donkey work for that. But no, it was a fascinating journey to see so much of England, and to spend so much time in one small vehicle with this fellow was not easy for him, it was easy for me, but I got the bigger bed, so I'll have to do most of the writing as well, because I saw more of what happened.
Yeah, I was probably
at the front, you were at the back.
Well, I was sleeping. I had to direct you, otherwise you would have got lost.
What's your favorite memory of the field?
I mean, for me, just meeting Ravi Shastri in that little pub by the water, by the Yara in Melbourne, because it kind of, in many ways, set the tone for the rest of the tour. Right?
It was 3 or 4 hours that probably even prompted us to write the book, because we got so much information out of it. I think we've got so much that let's start writing a book. So yeah, that interaction, I think maybe 4 or 5 hours, was in the hot Melbourne sun. It was it was just defining.
The wine was good too.
Is there more that you experienced that didn't make it to the book?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. There is a lot of things that we couldn't write about purely because it's not that nobody came on record, but we just felt that it wasn't right. It wasn't our story to tell, if that makes sense. So those bits we left out, but there was a lot of content that was left on the editing table.
Would you say that this was the series that saw many of the young players break through and has made them what they are today?
I think so. A lot of the young Indian players for sure, but I also think that it was a great victory for sport itself. Sport, cricket or any other sport, really, the essence of it is anybody can win on a given day, right? There are even the most underneath of underdogs can come up triumph, and when nobody gives him or her a chance. I think that's what you learn from this series, and it would have inspired not just young cricketers in India, but young sports people around the world to kind of believe and kind of put themselves out there, because who knows, you could be the next miracle maker.
How did you build your rapport with the team and the coaches? How are they so open and willing to share inside details?
They just like the space, I guess. I just give them hair care tips and they tell me everything there is to say. Look, it's for me with Ravi Shastri, and I go back a long way in terms of I've been covering Indian cricket since 2008. So obviously he's seen me around the blocks. I've interviewed him numerous times before he became coach, and this is just an extension of that. And look, it's like any other human relationship.
You've written about only cricketers, like solely cricketers before, but what made you decide to write about a whole series that happened?
Just because it was that special a series. Like, that story had to be told, and like I said, I also received death threats from people if I didn't write the book and if I didn't tell the story. And even though it is a story about a series, I think when you break it down, it is the story of many stories of different individuals who are involved in it.